What's up, guys? Got another project today on the Jeep. We are going to be replacing the transfer case. That one that I bought with the junkyard has been sitting in the garage long enough, and it's time for it to go in. Just got done lifting it, so we're gonna do the transfer case now. Now, what the transfer case does is it takes the power from the transmission and splits it. Normally, if it was two-wheel drive, you would just have a drive shaft going straight to the back of the truck. Well, because this is 4x, there is this transfer case. It's essentially a gear case. So what it does is when you're in two-wheel drive, it just sends the power to this drive shaft to the rear wheels. But when you're in four-wheel drive, it sends it back here. But also, there's a big chain in this one, and it sends the power to the front axle as well, so you have four-wheel drive. Well, the problem with this one is this is an older style, basically an all-wheel drive transfer case. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to basically leave the truck four-wheel drive all the time. And it's supposed to split the power between the front and the rear axles, and like when you hit a soft patch, it's supposed to kind of know that and send the power to the wheels that are gripping. Well, when this particular transfer case gets old and basically takes a dump, it doesn't basically select to send the torque to the wheels that are slipping. It'll basically, this thing becomes a locked unit. It's like having a solid shaft between the front and the rear axles, and that can't happen because when you go around a corner, the front axle will spin at a different, the front tires will spin at a different rate than the rear as you're going around the corner. So basically this thing isn't allowing any slippage, and so it's binding up and it'll eventually hurt the transmission. So, and you can't put this thing in two-wheel drive. It's basically either full-time four-wheel drive or four-wheel drive low, which is, low is for like when you're crawling, or if you're like trying to pull something heavy or get somebody with a heavy truck unstuck, that's what it's for. So basically this thing has failed internally, and I'm gonna replace it because this case never offered two-wheel drive or any of that. So when you're just cruising around on the street and whatnot, two-wheel drive is good because you don't need four-wheel drive. So you can save your, it'll, you know, help you save on gas and whatnot because there's not as much load on the engine. So this guy's gonna come out, and that one that I scrounged up from the junkyard is gonna come in. So I haven't ever done this swap. I had to get the shifter and everything out of the other Jeep. Some of the older Jeeps came with the transfer case that I wanted, so when I was at the junkyard I found that, and luckily a buddy of mine, thank you Zach, got me the shifter out of a Jeep that was similar, and so I can go ahead and do this. So will be to disconnect the rear drive shaft right here, but gotta make sure, first order of business before that, make sure the wheels are chocked, because when I take this drive shaft out, if my rear brakes aren't holding, since the e-brake runs off the rear brakes, if they're not holding, then the truck can roll. So, and seeing all these washers in here and stuff, I don't know how good it's holding. So just be real careful when you do this. Always make sure you chock the wheels if you're on a hill, and always make sure that you properly support the vehicle you're working on with a jack or whatnot. But the truck's sitting on its own wheels right now. I don't have to take any of them off for this project, so I'm okay under here for now, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I think this will be an 8. Yes, it is. Now, unfortunately, this ratcheting end won't fit on here, so just probably gonna have to use the open end, and they do come off good. So just a little arduous, so I'm gonna go ahead and take all these off, and yeah. Okay, now that I got the U-joint retainers off, I need to pop this up. Let me grab a screwdriver. Alright, so we got the drive shaft off. You can see it's just floating here. The yoke is, and then this U-joint. So this thing's sitting on the ground. Just basically had to pop it off. So got that. Now what I'm going to do is because I got to drain this transfer case, get all the fluid out of it, otherwise when I pull this drive shaft out it's going to make a mess. This is the one part of my driveway that's actually somewhat clean, so really don't want to ruin it. Got my Princess Jasmine Band-Aid. I got burned on my hand the other day and the blister popped, so I didn't want crap to get in it, but these are the only ones we had, so Princess Jasmine it is. I could care less, my daughter thinks they're cute, so. Ugh, this looks gross in here. Oh yeah, it stinks. It's probably all clutch material. Or no, it's a sealed unit in there. That's right. I don't think this has ever been done. It's supposed to be nice and red like clean transmission fluid, but we can all see that it isn't. There's some spider legs away. That's pretty much done. Don't need to drain it completely. Just enough so I don't get a shower. Okay. We got that drained. Now we'll pull this drive shaft out. All right, drive shaft is out. So be gentle and unplug this. Get that out of the way. And there is a connector right here for the oxygen sensor. Press this little tabby. Get him out of the way. Looks like there's another one right there. Get that out of the way. So, and this looks like a fuel line, so definitely don't want to piss this off, so see if I can take that out. Probably a 10. It sure is. Okay, fuel line is loose. So next order of business is to pull the front drive shaft. So I'm gonna migrate over there. All right, up in front now, and we will take these off. Ooh, if they'll let me. These have been on here for a while. There we go. Okay, got one off. Now I'm gonna do the other three. All right. All four of these bolts are out. Get the big screwdriver. See if it'll pop. Yep. This Jeep has all these sharp edges under here like this, so constantly watching out for them. Okay, that's off. Put those there. Get the wrench again. Gotta clean everything under here. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna go get a smaller wrench. All right. Now, the ratcheting end wrench wasn't working because the end's too big. Now I could go get a box end wrench, which is basically one of these without the ratcheting part, but I'll use this. This is by far my favorite ratchet. It's 1/4 inch on one side, 3/8 on the other, and the head swivels. Occasionally they'll have them at like Harbor Freight or AutoZone or something, but if you get the opportunity, get one. I use this thing damn near every project I do, so at this point it's invaluable. Yeah, you can see right here. See, there's the bottom of the motor mount, all the rubber's gone, so it's gonna let the motor bounce around when we're out in the dirt, and you don't want that because you get too much play, the motor will come up and the fan will eat into the fan shroud and cause all sorts of trouble. But I'll show you guys what all those parts are and whatnot. So that shock sure looks good right there. Okay. Next step was take the shifter for the transfer case off, undo the linkage. So took the nut off and the washer. This is the linkage. This is what actually lets it shift. So put that aside. Now I have the nut. We'll put that aside. Now I think I'm supposed to drop this, but in order to do it, I need to support this. So I'll show you guys that in a minute. So what I need to do is undo this cross member, and it's gonna lower the transmission and the transfer case, and then I'm gonna have to take these nuts off. Those are the ones that hold the transfer case of the transmission. So I gotta put a jack stand under here so that when I take this off, the whole thing doesn't fall down. So, and I'm gonna put a piece of wood to help spread the force so that it doesn't poke a hole in it. All right, got the piece of wood under there. Now we're gonna start taking these out. And go to the other side, do the same thing. Yeah, there's a lot of... Straight off, other side. Oh man. This is what destroyed threads looks like. This one, when it went in, destroyed the nutsert right here. So I'm gonna have to tap it bigger and go size up on the hardware. Damn it. All right. Crap. Well, you can see there's no threads left in there. So, I'll deal with that. I was hoping it was the bolt, but no such luck. She is down, but okay. I'm gonna have to jack it back up and take the take this bracket for the exhaust off, because it's pulling on the exhaust too, and definitely don't want to break that. So yeah, that's not good. All right, I'm gonna come around the front and start taking these off. Alright, so we have to take this cross member off. What I'll do is break these loose. Okay. And we're going to use this. This is my electric Milwaukee ratchet. I love this thing. Makes life a lot easier, and it was not that expensive. Let's get stuff semi-loose. Damn, a lot of mud. Kind of to be expected. On top of that thing, I'll hose it off. There, man, big a delay in this. Yeah, that thing's pretty much trashed. So we're gonna go ahead and finish taking these bolts out, and then I will show you what's next. Okay, so the bracket's off. So what was happening is, as this was coming down, it was pulling on this, which is no bueno, because otherwise it'll break something. So yeah, that's what's going on. So what I'm gonna have to do is take these bolts out around the circle, around the diameter of this, but what I've been told, it sucks. And it's not fun to do that, so we'll see what happens. See what size they are. Probably 15. Ooh, going into this dirt to get near the ratcheting wrenches. Let's see, 15. Nope, 14 probably. Let's see. Okay. Yes. 14. Now, this is probably going to be kind of arduous, so I won't record the whole thing. But I'm going to take out the ones that I can get to, and the other ones I will get out a different way. So yeah, once I get as many out as I can, I'll come back. All right guys, now I'm back. Now there's a bolt on the top of the transfer case that's being a real pain in the butt. So I'm gonna take the console out. I have to anyway, because when my buddy Zach went to the junkyard to get me the transfer case parts, he also got me a new shifter. Now there's not a really big difference in it, but the shifter for the new transfer case, the 242, has a notch in here and this one doesn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap them out. But in order to get this off, what you have to do is basically, when this is in here, you just kind of have to pry this out, and then once this comes out, this will be tight on there. So what you want to do is just basically hit it and it'll pop right off. And then these little guys, like the sweep and everything, you can just pop that out of there and toss it aside. So go ahead and twist out the little light, which is right there, and get that out of the way. Ooh. Okay, so put it back in park. Now I'm not 100% sure how to remove the console, so we're gonna see. There's carpet under there. Be a nice opportunity too to get under here and clean it, because it's obviously filthy. So we'll start with taking these out. Might just hose this console off. I'm so stoked to get this thing running, guys. You have no idea. I just want to go out and explore. And you'll get to go with me. I'm gonna buy a nice camera mount for the outside so you guys get a good view of everything we're seeing. So that's there. There's gotta be something under this. Huh. Score free hair ties. There's a couple right here. Probably it. Oh yeah, wow. Wish newer cars' consoles came apart this easy. Holy crap. Hey, get this in the garage. Wow, bottom of it's already blown out. You can see. Sweet. This thing's mint. There's all sorts of fun filth under here. Like, let's see, got some treasures. Don't know what that is. There's a pen. Ah, it's a pen from a dentist in Seattle. That makes sense because this came from Washington. So, looks like, to get this off, I'm gonna move this aside. Really wanted to take this big shifter out to get some access, but don't know if I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this shifter out and see what we can do. Let me crawl under and get my 8. Now what I realized when I was up there is there's a whole lot of shift linkage and crap under here I have to take apart to get that shifter out. So I'm gonna go ahead and break this loose. There's the one bolt up on top of the transfer case. It's being difficult. So, yeah, I'm gonna end up messing up this GoPro. Screwdriver and see if I can pop this out. Ooh. Let's see. Damn. So I can pop part of it apart. There we go. Now at least that should come out. Okay. We can go around the other side and grab my 8 and we'll come back. Okay. So, take these out. Damn. Let me get a little blade. Alright. Go ahead and cut this carpet. Get it out of the way. There we go. I think they're stuck in the gasket material. So I'm gonna get the rest of these screws out and I'll come back. All right, well, it's loose and it's out. So that one's out. Go ahead and set this one aside. And maybe I'm lucky and I can get at that upper transfer case bolt. Damn it, man. Keep hitting my head on everything. Ooh, maybe. Yeah, you can see it's right around the corner. Also, before you pull the case, unplug this vent tube. So, yeah, maybe I can get one in there. Let's see. Well, I have to. I have to get that bolt out or else this project ain't happening, so it's happening one way or another. If I have to yank the other shifter, I'll yank the other shifter. doesn't matter to me. I would just rather not have to do that. Let's see. Come on. Let's try this one. All right, I'm gonna see what I can do to get this loose and I'll be back. All right, guys. Back at it. I got that last bolt out, or the last nut off, I'm sorry. I'll show you what I had to use. It's a little no-name piece of crap wrench, but it was so sloppy that it fit on there and allowed me to do the full range of turning, so I guess it's a very useful little wrench now. So the last bolt, I'm sorry, I keep saying bolt, the last nut is taken off, so that guy up top's off. Here we go. This is it. So I'll get the jack under it. I'm told this one is significantly heavier than the other ones, but you can see this thing's kind of a weird shape, so I'm gonna try to avoid crushing my hand. So it would be ideal not to. So let's see. Okay, that gap opened up. Go up a little. Let's see. I think she's almost off. Let's see what's stopping us. Honestly, I don't feel anything. So that's loose. Fuel line is loose, so see if we can go back a little more. That's off. Okay. She's loose. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. Make sure we're clear. We are clear. We are coming down. Sweet. This thing is quite heavy. Oop. It's dripping. See if I can get her out without dripping too much. Ooh. All right, that's it. That is the old transfer case. Out with this old NP249 and in with the 242. So let me go grab it. Actually, before any of that, I'm gonna get my razor blade. I'm gonna clean the mating surface on the back of the transmission, get all that silicone off, because I'm gonna have to put new silicone between the two of them. Don't have to, but it'll help keep crap out. So then we're gonna change stuff over from case to case, all the little brackets and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is come over here. I got the blade. I'm just gonna scrape all the old RTV off. Like so. And this is a little breather channel that looked like it was plugged. That's a horrible sound. Okay. All right, that's clean. I'm gonna go grab the other case. All right, this is the transfer case that's going in. Now, this is the input shaft from the transmission. This is going to the front axle, and this one's going to the rear axle. Now you can see, right now, just these two are spinning. That's in two-wheel drive, so if I go down, now it's in four-wheel drive. All three are spinning. And if you go further, it goes into a different four, so I'm gonna set it all the way up. And two, and that should be it, but everything's the same except this. You have this. This isn't here, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this over. It's a bracket for the, I'm not sure what it holds, I think the fuel line, but I need to go ahead and put it right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch that over. I'll be back with you. All right, now that this is clean, we're gonna put this on. This is RTV silicone. RTV means room temperature vulcanizing, so it comes out in a liquid and it will harden up at room temperature. This, you can get this in orange, blue, black, gray, red, for different materials. This is just, I like to use the black and I like to use the gray, so it really doesn't matter which one you use, except if certain applications. Water pumps, you usually want to use blue. You know, high temp is red, but for this I'm just gonna use black. So I'm gonna spread it all around this hub right here, but leave this open so that moisture can get out if it needs to. So it's gonna basically smear it all the way around. Be careful when you're doing this, don't rub your eye or touch your hair or anything. If it doesn't come out of hair, ask me how I know. So this is just gonna help keep some of the debris and other crap out of here. So this stuff works wonders in a whole lot of different applications. So make sure it's a consistent bead. Then when you're done, make sure to put the cap back on, or you'll end up with the whole top of the tube all hard, and you will have to use a screwdriver to get it out. So just make sure you wipe it off onto a rag. Don't use your shirt, because you'll end up smearing it and getting it on the stuff that it shouldn't be on. Once again, ask me how I know. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring the new T-case under here, and we'll go from there. Okay, got the case on the jack. We're gonna see about getting it lined up. So can pump with your leg if you're good. really don't want this thing to fall on me, so I'll try to get it set. Oh. Don't want to bend this fuel line either. It's trying to. Let's see. Might have to just muscle it into place. Stupid shift linkage. Okay. Now I have to rotate the whole thing and hope that it's gonna work. Starting to go. So let's put a nut on here. Get a little more. Okay. All right, so it's in. It's just being held on by like one nut, so let's start a couple more, and I'm gonna jack it up because I don't want to pull it together using just the nuts. It's not the right way to do it. So we'll put the jack back under it. That should be good. I found the ratcheting end 14. Now, before I tighten it, I'm gonna go get my glasses because all sorts of crap's gonna fall into my eyes. All right, let's get ready to tighten this bad boy. Okay, got on that one. The ratcheting end doesn't fit on most of these, so I have to do it manually. Go grab my other 14 now. When I got this transfer case from the junkyard, it was disgusting, so my neighbor who was just over there let me borrow his pressure washer. And I used simple green in the pressure washer, and this is how this case looks. Came out really nice. So I'm super stoked about that because it looked like crap when I got it home. It was like the one I took out, but instead of being dirty, it was covered with oil. So yeah, the pressure washer made a significant difference, so I'm very happy with that. That. Hopefully we won't have to be under here too much more. I have the sneaking suspicion that at some point not too far down the road this transmission's gonna take a dump. But if it gets 200K out of it, which it is already at, that's a pretty damn good run. So let me get my small 14. Well, got all the nuts in, even up top, so we're gonna go ahead and start putting everything back together. So I don't know what's gonna be up with that shift linkage, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, clip all this stuff back together, and I'll be back with you. All right, well, we're putting the mount back on. Supporting it with the jack and putting the mount back on. There we go. While I was down here, I pulled the linkage off because it was in my way. Don't think I'm going to use it with my new, here it is, with my new setup. I'm told I'm not going to have to use it. Hopefully I don't need to. We'll see. Trying to remember the name of the company I bought the new linkage from. Don't remember off the top of my head, but it's supposed to be like really good. So we'll see in a minute. So all right, so it's already tight. So next step will be to install the linkage up there and we'll see where we're at. All right, before I continue, just want to give a big shout out to and thanks to Brandon at Mountain Vista Fabrication. He's out of Fort Collins. He makes this really nice transfer case shifter solution for people who are doing this conversion in the ZJs. So it's fully adjustable, has nice ends on it, everything's nice. Sure beats that bushing linkage setup that's on there from the factory to begin with. So really nice solution. So he was real cool to deal with on the phone, told him what I was doing, and he went ahead and got me hooked up, so I wanted to say thank you. So next step, what we're gonna do is go ahead and dingle this thing in here. This is the newer shifter, and it's almost the same except there's a tang right here. The other one didn't have it. And I'll show you guys the importance of that in a few minutes if I can get this thing in here. Let me see. What are we catching on? Let me see. All right, well, got the new shifter in. All I had to do was just get the channel locks and tweak the metal a little bit, bending it towards me to give more clearance, but this is what I'm talking about. This one has this little notch right here so you can't accidentally slam it back. So I did take the new Mountain Vista linkage off the arm, but it didn't make a difference. That didn't need to be off anyway, so we're gonna crawl under there and put it in. See what it looks like under here with the shifter back. All right. Okay. Well, what's nice is this other stock linkage looks like it'd be kind of a pain in the butt to get rid of, so I'm not really gonna fiddle with it. Just gonna leave her there. But this, it does say I need to change the arm, so we'll see, because right now It's in 2-wheel drive. So the bar goes across there. Yeah, I need to set this up right now. Hopefully. Let me change the arm real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, it says 2-wheel drive is all the way forward. So it also says attach this tab to the T-case in the place of the stock tab using original existing nut and washer. The pointed arrow portion of the tab faces towards the front of the Jeep. So that has to go forward. Let's get under there and look at it. I'm glad I left the brace off because there's a whole lot much more room in here. So that's all the way back. Let's bring it all the way forward. That's still in 4. That should be 2-wheel drive. I'm gonna go ahead and get this off and be right back with you. All right, we're gonna come under here and set this linkage. So, take these off, the nuts off. I'm excited to use this linkage. It's very nice looking. Did a good job. Uh-oh. What it looks like there. That's as good as it's gonna get, so let me go ahead and tighten her up and see what she does. So what I'm gonna do to adjust the length is I'm gonna install the cross member, and then I'm gonna set the total length of the shift linkage, because it's kind of fighting me a little bit and I want to make sure it's 100% right. So let's do this first. I pretty much cover this during the lift, so I'm not gonna show you it again. Just gonna go ahead and get these started and I'll get back with you. All right guys, what I did is I put the cross member back on so I can set the length of the shift linkage. Get this out of the way. Okay. So, see what she looks like. I mean, don't really have much of an option, but a little better. The other nut, there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this shift linkage up, and we'll see where we're at. Well, goes through all the motions. So, 2-wheel drive. Four part-time, 4 full-time, neutral, 4 low. So, looks like it might be okay. I'm just gonna get in here and vacuum up all this crap, and then I'm gonna put the console back. All right, got the shifter back on. All right, guys, well, we are essentially done in here. Got the shifter in, got everything else in, so that's awesome. Gonna put this back on and plug the light in, and snap this guy in. I think I has to go the other side first. Oops. Let's see. Oh, the light bulb came out. There we go. Select track. No more quadra track. 4 low, neutral, full-time 4, part-time 2. Let's hope it works. So, last order of business is to hook up the drive shaft. Installation is reverse of removal, so I'm gonna crawl under there and do that, and I'll be back with you. Well, got the drive shaft sorted out. There's one little detail left. The vehicle information display, the VIC, vehicle information cluster console, whatever they want to call it. If you want to make it work with the 242, you got to take it out, because what will happen is as you move through the gears on here, if you leave it hooked up the previous way, it won't light up properly. So what you have to do is you have this red plug plugged in right now, which is set up for the 249. Then you have this black one, which is set up for the 242. So basically what you do is just take the screws under here out, take the screws here out, and take the screws there out, and just pop it out. And then basically you're going to want to disconnect this red one and connect this black one. And the black one's connected. I just got to disconnect the red. Then once that's done, the VIC should work properly. So I'm gonna disconnect the red, put everything back together, and then yeah, I will show you the finished result. All right, well, back to our transfer case swap project. So I went ahead and got everything in, but took it around the block. It runs okay, but I just need to get the old fluid out and replace it. You'll notice I don't have a front drive shaft on there right now. The original drive shaft was a Rosepa U-joint style, and I've been told from the research I've read and posts I've read that the U-joint style drive shaft does not like working at extreme angles like you'd see on a lift. So I got a different style drive shaft, and I bought a different yoke that will work with the new drive shaft. So I got to change that out, so that round one has to go. But for the time being, we'll get there when we'll get there, but we're gonna finish this first. So I'm gonna take this fluid that was in here out. We're gonna go ahead and replace it. So the spec that I read said 2.9 pints, which is the equivalent of like 1.5 quarts, so we'll go ahead and change it out. I got quite a few other projects I'm going to be doing on this, so if you guys like, you can follow along. I have a pile of parts over there I'll show you all in a minute when I get this done, so I'm going to go ahead and get all this fluid out so we can start fresh, and then you know, kind of have a baseline of mileage, so when I need to change it, I know where I started at. So. Okay, well, there is no fluid in here, so it's a good thing I haven't driven it far. Wow, there really is no fluid in there. Okay, so spec says 1.5 quarts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this plug back in and get ready to fill it. So I got these gloves at AutoZone the other day. They're really thick latex, and they've actually been real cool. Like, I used them the other day on something else and they didn't tear or anything. And I'm not a huge glove person, but you know, when you're doing something nasty, like when I was doing I think I wore them when I was doing the ball joints, and they were great, so I consider it a success. So I'll be right back. Let me go grab my little pump. All right, now what I'll do sometimes is if it's like you gotta add gear oil or something thick, I'll take the fluid and put it in a 5-gallon bucket with really hot water in it, and it'll actually thin it out enough to make it thin, so it'll flow easier through pumps and hoses. But I just keep the tops of like 80-90 bottles, and a lot of the time you can just squeeze it in there. It's quicker than the pump. So let's see if I can get some of this in here. Well, feels about it. That's almost completely gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish filling this. I'll get back with you. Oh, it didn't actually end up needing the pump. Just fill it till it started coming out. It's about 1.5 quarts, so should be good on that. This was called for ATF plus 4. It was not 80-90. A lot of transfer cases use 80-90, so when you're doing a transfer case fluid exchange, make sure you check to see what it needs, because this thing has its own little fluid pump in here and bearings and whatnot. And if you end up using the wrong stuff, you'll destroy the case, because the viscosity of the fluid will be too thick and it won't be able to move around. So yeah, so we're good on this. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure the case shifts through all the gears and whatnot. So the rear drive shaft's hooked up, obviously, but I'm still got to do the front, but I'll obviously keep you guys posted on it. So let's go make sure that the case is hooked up right on the instrument cluster. All right, so it's still messy in here. So I did my last video, I was out kind of messing around with it. I got a seat for this from the junkyard because this track's all booger welded right here and it looks like crap, so this whole seat's going away. It's just a piece of crap, and I got a nice CB mount, so mounted it here. It goes, pulled the taillight out and mounted it up underneath, and then ran the wire through underneath, and it comes up here. So I'll show video of mounting the radio, but this is what I want to see. Get the VIC on, so it should change on here when I shift it. Right now it's in 2-wheel drive. Now it's part-time 4-wheel drive. Full-time. Neutral. And 4-low. So it works. Just takes a little bit of massaging. So yeah, that's why we had to pull the VIC out to change it. But yeah, everything works now, so that's awesome. So transfer case swap project is pretty much done. I mean, it wasn't really hard. I mean, I kind of lucked out because this is a 96, like I said, with the automatic, and it's a 5.2 V8. So it had the medium length input shaft on the transfer case. There's a short, medium, and then a long one. And I lucked out because I searched for a specific vehicle. I looked for a 95 with the 4.0, and that had the medium length input shaft as well. So I was able to do a direct swap. If you end up finding one with the short input shaft or the long one, you have to do a half case swap. So you have to take apart the transfer case and change the input shafts and take off a bunch of snap rings to do it. I mean, it's not hard, but I was lucky enough to find this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the project. I mean, this thing, it'll actually make it drivable now, because before it was just terrible. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll be doing a lot more. So thanks guys, have a good one.